Hi friends! I just thought I'd catch you up on what's going on in life. When I finished my degree in sign language teaching, and so I had decided to go into education. Through the course of my education classes, I've had the opportunity to be observing in classes and help teach some classes, and I've also become a substitute teacher, which is definitely helpful in the aspect of classroom management. But today I want to talk specifically about teachers in general and things that I learned during my student teaching. We're just gonna get started in here with the list of things that I learned while I was student teaching. First thing I learned is that work does not end when the bell rings. When I was a student growing up little to higher, I always figured the teachers just go home when the bell rings with us and they're done for the day. They don't have to worry about anything until they come back the next day, but that is not true. Do you need copies in the copy center? Do you need to gather materials? The work does not end when the bell rings. Second thing I learned is that we see everything, okay? Teachers know that things are happening in the classroom. You know, like when I was a student, I would, be all sneaky, like, oh, teachers can't see me. Hiding my phone underneath my desk. That is not true, okay? We teachers can't see everything, okay? It's our choice whether to ignore it at the moment or try and deal with it, because sometimes it's more important to keep going with the lesson and keep that ball rolling than it is to tell Timothy in the back corner that his phone is out and needs to get put away. Sometimes it's just more important to get the whole class continue learning than to stop Timothy on his freaking phone underneath his leg, underneath the binder that's trying to hide it from you. So yeah, that's something that I learned, is that we have eyes like a hawk. We can see you in the back of our heads. We know what's happening. You can't hide it, okay? Sometimes there's more important things to do than to stop the class for that one person that's doing something. Number 3 thing that I learned, we have feelings. I know, shocker, that a human being would have feelings, but it's true. I found that hard comparing myself to other great teachers and thinking, well, why aren't they talking about me? Am I not great? I don't know what to feel. So that's something that I learned, that teachers have feelings. 4th thing that I learned is that teachers have lives outside of their classroom. And it can be so hard to separate that from classroom to life, because there's so many things, there's so many needs in the classroom that sometimes it's hard to feed back into things that need to happen here too, back at life. Things are happening to us that you guys don't know about, that students don't know about. I did not realize how much work it is to be a teacher until student teaching. 5th thing that I learned is that sometimes we sacrifice our life for our students. There are so many times that I stayed up so late the night before, making sure that my lesson was good, making sure that everything I needed was there. I remember one time that I came home from school exhausted after a day of teaching. It had been an exhausting day. I needed to sleep, so I fell asleep. My alarm didn't go off, so I slept until 10 o'clock at night, and I still hadn't prepped the lesson for the next day. I was up until 3 a.m. prepping the next day's lesson, and woke up 2 hours later to go to school. That was exhausting. So sometimes we have to sacrifice these things for our students. So that's the role of being a teacher, is you're there to help your students succeed. I spent so much time focusing on my students that I barely had time for myself. So that's something that I learned. We do a lot of sacrificing as teachers. Number 6 that I learned is that we care a lot for our students. I just care so much about them because I spent so much time with them in the classroom. I sat one-on-one with them. I got to know them personally. They would talk to me about their lives, and I loved that. It just humbles me to think about what if teachers felt that same way about me. That's so amazing to me that they would feel that way about students, because I never thought that teachers super cared about us. They did, but they didn't. They had other things to care about. But being a student teacher, I'm like, holy cow, it hit me. All this care and love that we have, we just want to teach them. We want to love them, and it's so great. It's so awesome. And then the 7th thing that I want to share that I learned is that it's all worth it. Some of these things I talked about sound like, oh, maybe I don't want to be a teacher, but it's all worth it because in the end, you get to see how your students have grown from here all the way to here, and you get to see what great things they're doing and how they're using this knowledge to better the world. It's like so mind-blowing, and I was a part of that. I was a part of this growing experience with them, and it's so cool, and it's so worth it. And so I wanted to give a special thank you to the teachers out there that influenced me and made my life better. And I want to shout out specifically to Mr. Crandall, my second grade teacher. I called you dad once in class and it was really embarrassing. I almost cried, but you still stuck it out with me. And you really stick out in my mind as someone that influenced me for good. And I want to thank Mr. Brooks, who was one of my 8th grade English teachers. He is amazing, and he was so kind to me in a time of middle school struggle, so thank you, Mr. Brooks. And I want to thank Miss Robinson, my 10th grade math teacher, who is amazing and helped me understand math because I struggle with math and science, and she made it all make sense to me. So thank you so much. I finally want to thank Miss Terry, who was my mentor, and she has stuck it out with me. She was my sign language teacher. She is the reason that I became a sign language teacher. So I really want to thank you, Miss Terry. Thank you so much. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you guys have a great day.